Hello, welcome to a grief share video. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I've had to go through the past few weeks. I've I've really been struggling to have much energy and really been going through a lot of like nausea and stuff because um, I found out that I was pregnant a couple weeks ago. So um, I just really wanted to kind of talk about how I've been struggling. It's it's getting kind of hard to make my videos sometimes just because of all the things that I'm going through. So, um, I may not be able to do as much as I could before, but I'm gonna keep trying and see where I can go. But when you're going through a really hard time, it's good to kind of talk about it and just kind of release your frustration. It's I mean, it's always hard because I tend to look at things like it could be worse, but um it's important to be realistic about the issues you're dealing with. Like I was saying, I've been really nauseated and um just really struggling with food lately because of pregnancy and I've been really tired, not sleeping as well at night, and then um struggling sometimes to sleep during the day. Um, but I mean, it's nothing really unusual. But I don't think a lot of people talk about what they go through in pregnancy. Actually, I think a lot of people tend to look at it as a positive. Or um, when I think of my own mother, she never really focused on those things. I think that she just looked at it as something to get through and it was worth it because you got the reward of the child. Um, that's the way it seemed to me. Um, she never talked about any of the struggles she went through, and I remember going to some churches where um, I don't know. I was just thinking about this today. I went to a church where there was a couple girls that had come up and were speaking in front of the congregation, and they were talking about how they had been trying to have a baby for years, and their struggle with trying to conceive and just you could tell it was really hard for them, because I guess they wanted a child and it had taken a while to get pregnant, but they were talking about how how happy they were because they had both gotten pregnant that year. So you know um, they were really just kind of talking about how happy they were that they were pregnant, how blessed, how fortunate they had to finally get pregnant. And I guess I could see if it's something that you want really badly and it's taking years to achieve it and it means a lot to you. Maybe those the things that you have to go through aren't so much something that you really talk about or think about. You really just don't think much about it, but that's just what I'm used to hearing. I'm used to people talking about the positive end of pregnancy. Don't get me wrong, I've seen movies and I've heard people talk about some of the issues that they had, you know throwing up and stuff like that. I think are typical things we hear about with stuff like that. But um I mean, it's just not really talked about to a lot of detail when it comes to the, I guess, the negatives of pregnancy. I mean, it really can be hard for some people, um, and it's not so bad for others. But you have to you have to be able to talk about that, I think, with people. Um, it just it feels like so many women are just glad to be pregnant. It's just not talked about, I guess, like I'm saying. But I just I wanted to kind of be honest about some of the things I'm dealing with. It is really difficult for me personally, because I guess I just don't tolerate like physical problems very well. Um, I've had a lot of problems myself with like being a picky eater. I've had struggled with that for years. I can only eat certain things, and so after I got pregnant, it's gotten 1,000 times worse. And I think in your mind you just don't think that it could get worse, but it's gotten so much harder. Um, like I used to have some things that I could eat and drink every day, and it was just kind of my go-to items for eating and drinking, and I just can't even drink and eat those things anymore. So I'm um, kind of just trying to find stuff in the store that I can eat, and I'm nauseated almost all the time. Thank God I haven't had um, to throw up or anything, but I feel so sick a lot, and it's hard for me, like I said, because of what I've gone through before, even getting pregnant, and it doesn't help that I didn't really want to have a baby, and like I've talked about on some other videos, um, it may not make much sense, but I felt like that's what God wanted me to do. And sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to for God because it makes us a better person. Um, Having a child could teach us things that we didn't know we needed to learn. So that's kind of how I look at it. But it doesn't really make it any easier to go through. In fact, sometimes I get angry um, that I have to go through it because although I have the choice to have a baby or try to have a baby, whatever, I just feel like it can kind of feel like there's no choice when God tells you something, because if you don't do what God says, it can cause major consequences in your life. That's one thing I've learned. So sometimes it kind of feels like what God is saying is a demand. Um, it's not really, but it could feel that way because it's like, well, I know what happens if I don't do it. So it's just kind of tough on my mind sometimes, and I think about how unfair it is when so many people do want to go through it, and I'm one of the probably few that don't want to go through it at this age. Um, I look back at my past, and I think every girl that was 18 or younger in high school and younger didn't want to have a child at that point. But I'm just talking about it at my age, in my 30s. You know, I find more women that want children than don't. So I just feel like I don't know why I'm one of the few that doesn't want to have it, but God still wants it to happen. So it can kind of make you frustrated. It can make you feel like you know God doesn't respect you and your wishes. Even though I know that one day I could be thankful about it, um, I still don't know how to be okay going through it. And I think I've tried to talk about it sometimes. I try to talk about that sometimes on videos, how, um, you know, every time we look back, we can't appreciate what God does, but it's tough in the moment trying to not get angry at God or understand why God does the things He does. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Um, like I said, I'm just not feeling the best, so I'm not going to take too much time on these videos. But anyway, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.